Mayo left side. Here's Sanders from the left block. He sends it through.
You got to put bodies on the glass right there. They just are not getting it done on the board.
Yeah, they've got to do a much better job of going harder than that to the glass.
Steve, you mentioned the stalemate they played to a year ago. Do you see that happening again this year?
Kevin, I'm not sure. It's really too early to tell. Wouldn't surprise me, I'd say that much after what happened last year.
Ilyasova with the ball. Now guarded by Cooper. Ilyasova passes to Knight. He feeds it to Mayo. Right side, Mayo. Puts it up from 17. Again, Mayo missing.
Things have kind of gone south for him here in the quarter.
Now the pass to Cooper. Defended by Delfino. Here's Cooper coming off a stellar performance against Detroit. And you know that's going to be goaltending, guys. So that's a free basket right there.
He didn't get to that one quite in time.
Quarter number 2. We're about 2 minutes in. Down low. Ilyasova on him. Well, their pass it to Cooper. Baseline try. Rebounded by the Bucks. Knight's got 3 rebounds so far in the game. Coming off that loss against the Nets.
They found themselves up against a hot team that night, Kevin, and they just didn't have the manpower defensively to shut them down.
You know, guys, I expected a little more fight out of them than what they showed us. They never strung together any stops like they needed to.
And Milwaukee, looking at who they got. Ilyasova and Sanders in the middle. Mayo and Delfino are the wing. And it's Knight in at the point guard position. And keeping us updated from the sideline, let's swing it over to Doris Burke for an update. Hi, Doris.
Well, guys, the closer in the last outing against the Pistons put on a show. He had 21 points, and that scoring outburst set a new season high for him in what was a great exhibition on his part. Overall, just an incredible bonus for his team as he made a big impact coming off the bench.
Thanks, Doris, for revisiting what was an astounding performance, Clark.
It clearly was one of those games that when we look back on his career, this game will be right there among the best ever that he's played.
Well, he was in the zone from the outset. It was just one of those games where he was feeling it. Everything was going his way, and he attacked, and that's what I like. Once he knew it was his night, he just attacked relentlessly.
Well, I think Larry Sanders is one of the most improved players in the league, guys. I don't know where you stand on it, but, you know, he led the league in ejections, too, with 5. He's got to control and manage his emotions a little better. He almost got to that shot in time, but not quite. You can't touch the ball once it's on the way down.
That whistle got a big response from this crowd, and it is not a favorable one, let's say.
I'll tell you what, the fans can't believe that they made that call.
Ozzie Muhammad's checked in for Noah. Back to Sanders, he said he's taking steps to keep his composure, not getting to other players and feel the wrath of officials. Those technicals were piling up.
Well, Kevin, he's already made some nice strides in his approach to the game. Just eating right, getting to the gym early. You know, you really have to learn how to become a professional, and I think Sanders has made that next step.
First one falls for him.
When the NBA realized its divisions back in 2004, the Bucks saw themselves come in dead last in the Central for the first few years, but here recently they've strung together some solid seasons and usually are second or third in the division.
And Antetokounmpo's check in for Carlos Delfino. Mayo drives in. Back to Knight. Shoots the three. Muhammad pulls it in. Bulls trail by 10. Rose with the ball. And it's Knight picking him up. And the foul called on Larry Sanders. And that'll be his third foul so far. And for the Bucks, it wasn't where they ultimately wanted to end up, but they are building towards winning the division slowly but surely. Steve, 7-9 record for them last year, though, and they'll need to improve on that.
Well, and that's not going to be easy because Chicago gets Derrick Rose back. Indiana's going to be improved. Detroit looking like they're making strides. I think the Bucks will be hard-pressed to duplicate that 7-9 record.
I'm not sure you guys had a chance to catch the entire press conference, but what did you think about his comments after that last game?
Wow, Kevin, that was really something. The arrogance, just the brash cockiness, I think he took that to a new level. I've never heard anybody talking about basically taking over the world. I mean, that was kind of out of hand, wasn't it?
Yes, it certainly was, Steve. Don't even have a comment for that. Wow.
And he's shaking off a poor first-quarter shooting effort. He's really starting to turn it on now, guys.
Is Smith. He's checked in for Milwaukee. Rose passes to Cooper. Five to shoot. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot two. Udo picks one up.
Well, Kevin, when he's got the ball down in the low post, he has a huge variety of moves to choose from. So it's tough to defend him. He's got great footwork and finesse. Just figures out a way to get it done.
And something else that comes to mind with him is how many guys he's given the poster treatment to. I mean, flying high to power one down while the defender stands there looking for mercy. Well, that's a solidly executed pick play. I mean, it paid dividends with that nice dunk.
Exactly the result they were looking for.
Yeah, it worked so well. I mean, he got set, did not shuffle his feet. Really well done there offensively.
Butler dishes to Gibson, and he takes it in for the layup off a very nice feed. Gibson's got 4 points now in the quarter.
You know, in Larry Drew's case, it was a bit of an unusual situation once the season concluded. He was in the final year of his deal. The Hawks said we'll interview other candidates and left him free to interview for other head coaching positions, and he landed in Milwaukee.
Kicks to Udo. Pass to Smith. From past the arc, and that one's good. Smith's got 6 points.
Starting to get a little momentum here after that scoreless first quarter.
Bulls trail by 11. Well, Stephen, back to Coach Drew, of course, he ended up signing with the Bucks.
Well, that was an interesting move for him to go from Atlanta to Milwaukee. You know, the Hawks were one of the better defensive teams in the league last year. I think that's what the Bucks saw in Drew. And that's the idea for him to really help this team get the most out of its players, particularly defensively.
Well, let's have a look at some league leaders from the last 10 games. Here are the highest scoring point guards in the NBA during that time. Derrick Rose is second.
And this is a group of guys who have that uncanny knack to simply score and deliver the offense in addition to running the offense. What a star-studded bunch of players.
Yeah, I agree with you. The thing that, to me, makes these guys special, Steve, is that they can do so many things to enable and help their offense. And not all point guards in the league have the unique combination of skill to produce that these guys do. And they've done it on a night-in, night-out basis. And I've marveled at their consistency as well.
The Bucks making a switch here. Sanders is checked in. Teague, the pass to Cooper. From deep three-point range, Teague kicks to Heinrich. The high post shot. That's good. And so Teague with the assist. 52 seconds left to play here in the half. Pass to Ridnour. He kicks it to Delfino. And a foul on the shot. He'll go to the stripe for two.
You know, when you're in the East, you don't have to necessarily be an above 500 team on the road, but you got to be close to 500. And the Bucks were a solid team on the road, and that's why they made the playoffs.
Joakim Noah, he's checked in for Chicago. And Clark, you talk about the Bucks. They went 17-24 on the road last season. That might not be the most impressive mark, but it was still 7th best in the conference in terms of road wins.
Well, the East was pretty weak. We know that. And the Bucks making the playoffs at all was the perfect example of how weak the East was. But look, they can get better. They've got some young talent. They've got some things to be excited about. And one is the play of John Henson, second-year man from North Carolina.
Ridnour gets a screen from Smith. Off the pick. They get the rebound. Sanders hangs in midair and converts on the double clutch layup.
Yeah, he's just embarrassing the defense right now because didn't really need to double clutch there.
Here's Cooper. No good on the buzzer beater. And that concludes the first half. But
now, presented by Sprint.
Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
And one of the shores of Lake Michigan, the lights of the great city of Chicago, as we return. You look at the closer in this game, guys. He's been everywhere.
You know, he spoils us with his performances game in and game out. And so far, just another big scoring night for him.
Typically, when he puts up that many points in the first half, he's going to follow it up with a better second half. We'll see if that happens here.
Well, we've got a moment. Let's set the floor. Brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up for the second half. So for Chicago right now, D. Rose and Jimmy Butler, the back hang out there with Cooper, and it's Noah in at the center.
O.J. Mayo is out of USC. He's in his 6th season in the NBA, fellas, and he was considered the top player in his high school class. Very, very highly regarded. He's yet to be a star at the professional level, but I think he's looking to solidify himself as a quality starter.
From the sideline, let's catch up with Doris Burke.
Well, Kevin, a curious signing for the Bucks this offseason, bringing in Pachulia on a 3-year mid-level type deal. This is a team that already had a logjam in the front court with Sanders, Henson, Ilyasova, and Drew Gooden. The Bucks traded away promising forward Tobias Harris last year for what became a couple of second-round picks. They did much the same with Mbah a Moute. It's all about getting the most out of your assets. Guys, we'll see how the Bucks do shuffling their pieces around.
It'll be interesting to see. Thanks, Doris. Now Knight, right now averaging 15 points a game. Mayo drives in. Here's Sanders. Makes it off the glass. Sanders has got 10 points.
That's something they need to do more of. Get after it on the glass. Go get those balls.
Any extra possessions that you can get, either through steals or rebounds, are so critical in this game.
Noah, the pass to Cooper. Deng kicks to Rose. And some nice ball movement here by Chicago. Here's Cooper. Hits it from three-point range. Cooper's got 19 points. Bucks leading by 10. Mayo kicks to Sanders. To Mayo. Right side, Mayo. Now the dish to Knight. No luck. Some solid defense from Rose. For Chicago, they've gone 2 of 4 here to start the second half. Back to Butler. Passes it to Cooper. Rose. A floater from downtown. The Bulls keep it alive.
Kind of rare to see him come up empty on a wide open look.
Mayo into the lane. Feeds it to Knight. To Mayo. There's the feed to Knight. Lets it go from 11. No good. And it's Chicago the other way.
He's tried to get it going, but the shots just have not dropped for him today.
They set the screen. Cooper the pass to Butler. Rose puts up a 3. Gets it to go. They got on this roll a while ago, and they just haven't looked back.
Now they're not showing too much respect for him defensively, are they?
Milwaukee's gone 4 of 8 tonight from three-point land, shooting 50% on the 3-ball here. Knight kicks to Mayo. Back to Knight. Gives him the lead pass. And fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot two. That's on Joakim Noah.
You know, one of the bigger improvements last season, as I saw it, was Larry Sanders transforming from a specialist role player into a legitimate starting center. I mean, he always had a knack for defense and blocking shots and rebounding, but he polished up his offensive skills enough to be an impact player at that end of the floor.
Free throw drops for Sanders. And for Sanders, some of his improvement offensively was just sticking to his strength, finishing around the rim.
Yeah, he improved his shot selection. He's always played with a lot of energy, but I think his decision-making was the reason he finished third in most improved player voting last year.
Nice young player for Milwaukee. Udo's checked in for Ilyasova. And he makes the first, but misses the second.
You know, in one of the more compelling postseason stories, the question about when the Bulls would bring Derrick Rose back just continued to hover around the playoffs. Ultimately, just never happened.
Ridnour dishes to Smith. He passes to Udo. Back to Smith. Fires from deep. Offensive rebound, Bucks. Was shot by Udo, no good. Bulls trail by 8. He dishes it to Rose. On the wing, Dang. Cooper. He's guarded by Ridnour. Cooper, the pass to Rose. And the shot counts. He's fouled, and it's a chance for a three-point play. Well, back at the Bulls, and even without Rose, I think the team made a big statement, Steve, with how they played in the postseason. They showed that they weren't just a one-man show with Rose running things, and they have a solid core and system that will always compete.
Well, it's the second straight year that the Bulls have essentially been without Rose in their playoff run due to injury. And so I think Chicago fans are kind of wondering what exactly the roof is for this team, the ceiling, if you will. Let's hope that Rose stays healthy this year, so we'll find out.
And it's Cooper missing.
You know, even though he missed that one, great shooters have a way of feeling when they've got enough room to pull the trigger.
Yeah, not enough defensive coverage there to prevent him from firing that time. But yeah, I think if he's open, he's got to let that thing fly.
And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot two right here.
Talk about a terrific game for the closer. He's got 19 points, and he's managed to get 4 of his points by way of the free throw line.
And that may not be the first thing people notice about his performance, but those are important points nonetheless.
Here's what Milwaukee's going with right now. Ilyasova, he's checked in for John Henson. And Antetokounmpo subbed in for Chris Middleton. Dishes to Ilyasova. Takes the lead pass. Udo battles through traffic and lays it in. And the Bucks lead by 5. Chicago's gone 2 of 5 with the three-point shot since coming out of the break. Takes the turnaround J, and the shot is good. 23 points for the closer.
Oh, man, they needed a run to get back into this game, and they got it.
And a good one, defensively and offensively. It's been a terrific stretch for him.
Smith kicks to Udo. Can't get it to go. Excellent defense there from Cooper. Here's Chicago. They're on a 15-5 run here. He lobs it up.
Well, you knew the run would come, and here it is. They're playing well now, trying to get back in this thing.
Yeah, pretty good comeback effort here. Rolling along nicely, and they've gotten themselves within striking distance now.
Now, here is Smith. 6 points for him. And out of bounds as the Bulls gain possession.
Over the last 10 games, Kevin, you can see where the Bucks rank in the league stat. 8th in three-point shooting, 14th in block. And they're in the top half of the league in fewest turnovers. When you can be in that company, you're giving yourself a chance to be a winning team.
Yeah, this is a team that shoots the ball well, and I think the key is their accuracy from the three-point line. If you look at that number in the top 10, as you talked about, Clark, you know, they've leaned on this of late particularly, and I think their success from the three-point line has really allowed their offense to open up and become more balanced.
Hey, people had no idea, guys, how the Bulls were going to do last season dealing with the Rose injury, but they showed very quickly that they're going to be a team in the hunt, and they were still going to be hard to beat at home.
And a look now at how the offensive approach has been going here so far for the Bucks.
Well, they're taking high percentage shots in the paint. I like the way their offense is clicking.
Another part of their game that's made a difference tonight is all the second chance points they've been able to get.
Looking at who's out there now for the Bucks. Barry Sanders is checked in for Yuta. Delfino comes in for Antetokounmpo, and it's Mayo in for Luke Ridnour. Mayo dishing to Sanders. Lets it go from 11, gets the bucket. And that's 15 points for O.J. Mayo. And back to the Bulls at the United Center that Clark was just mentioning, 24-17 here in this building a year ago. And even though, Steve, they didn't have a lot of high-flying highlights here, they knew how to close out games.
Well, they defend, and that's the main thing. If you want to finish and close out games, you have to be able to defend and rebound. And that's what Tom Thibodeau's teams are always all about, and this year is no exception.
Well, smooth around the rim definitely is not the word I'd use to describe him. He's got some rough edges to it.
The kick out to Ilyasova. Yes, and Knight with the assist that time. Knight's got 5 assists in the game.
Boy, when you got a big man who can shoot from distance like he can, what a huge bonus that is.
The third quarter comes. All right, we welcome you back to what's been a hard-fought battle. Fourth quarter should be good. On the floor for Milwaukee. Ridnour passes to Delfino. He feeds it to Smith. And there's the pass to Delfino. Five on the clock. Here's Mayo. And another basket for Milwaukee.
He's been one of their more reliable options today, guys. I mean, his shooting has led them to this lead.
Pass to Cooper. Guarded by Mayo. From the baseline. Gets it to go.
Well, they got the most out of that possession, guys.
51 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Ball's knocked loose. Here's Cooper. Lets it go from deep. No luck.
Tell you what, the defense has nothing to worry about out there with him shooting. I mean, he can't dial it in from deep this half at all.
Smith against Butler. Some solid defense from Butler.
That's terrific defense right there to prevent from converting in close.
Cooper with the bucket.
You know, he'll make you scratch your head and throw your hands up as a defender. I mean, you just don't know how to play it.
And now they decide to foul intentionally. There's 14 seconds left in the fourth quarter. And he commits the intentional foul. It's the first. That makes it a 7-point lead. Big group substitution here for Milwaukee. And so he drops them both. It's an 8-point game. Back to Teague. Kicks it to Dunley. Snell pass to Cooper for 3. And so the Bucks take the win. They pulled off this win, Clark, with respectable performances on both.
Coach has just indicated that you're now the starter at your position. How does it feel to have cracked that starting rotation?
It's really nice to get a chance like this. I feel like there's a lot I can do to help this team be successful. And I'm looking forward to being out there on the court more often.
That is the way you get your team fired up. I'd say they're anxious to get this one started. All eyes are on the Eastern Conference in this game as the New York Knicks play this one at home. We're happy to have you with us for 2K Sports midweek presentation of NBA basketball. This is Kevin Harlan with Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg. And now a quick check of our starting lineups for both teams. One of the guys we'll be watching out for today, Amar'e Stoudemire.
And one of the plays we're going to see with him a lot is the pick and roll. He's tremendous both as a screener and a popper. And you don't see him whistled for a lot of moving screens because his positioning is solid and his timing is right on the money.
And Steve, near the bucket, he's one of the best finishers around. I mean, he does a great job of using his strong body to fight through contact and get to the rack.
And the Bulls looking for a positive start here on their road trip. Well, they're entering a bit of a soft spot in their schedule, facing off guys against some of the lower-ranked teams in the league, and we'll see if they're able to take advantage and have their win total.
You know, looking at Chicago, they've gotten off to an ideal start this season, really. It was largely unexpected, but by no means has it been a fluke. You knew they had the potential to do what they're doing.
I think you could see the potential. You know, just the way they're playing now, obviously, it looks like they've been there all along. But there's probably still a lot of non-believers out there kind of waiting for the bottom to fall out on this team.
You know, with all of the improvements in medicine and also the advances in rehabilitation after torn ACL surgeries, we've seen a number of players come back to be as good as they were before the injury. Derrick Rose's fans had to be feeling good about what level he would return at when he came back.
Cooper is in the starting roster for the first time.
And you see the things he's capable of doing on a night-in, night-out basis. It's mind-boggling. Clark, this guy is just wildly gifted.
Yeah, you know what, I agree. I mean, the work he's put in to get this far may very well be the most impressive thing of all, Steve. He's taken raw natural ability and molded it into one of the most refined skill sets in the NBA. That's special.
Hits the front of the rim and out. Well, back to the ACL repair for Rose. Clark, great to see modern medicine extend players' careers and help them return from those tough injuries. Steve, it's been terrific watching these players come back. Really didn't see Rose last year, certainly. I expect this year he'll be terrific.
Well, it's so great to see Derrick Rose back on the court after missing last season. One of the most explosive, entertaining players in the NBA. A great guy, terrific team leader. The NBA needs Derrick Rose, so fun to have him back.
Smith with it. A 24-point outing in their last game against Cleveland.
Yeah, no question. You look at his assist totals, and they tell you what a nice job he was doing with really spreading that ball around.
Now, here's Felton. Smith outside. Clock at 6. He dishes it to Carmelo. Smith with a screen on deck. The first quarter of action, 2 minutes in. Butler with the ball. Now Felton defending. Here's Cooper. Nice spin off the left rim and in.
Very well done. He is a confident, dynamic scorer.
Well, for a long time for the New York fans, going to see a Knicks game was an exercise in masochism, but they've turned it around in a big way, and now this is a tough place to play for a road team.
And I think Doris Burke has something for us right now. Doris?
I had a chance to catch up with Mike Woodson. He said that their defensive focus, no surprise, will be trying to keep Derrick Rose out of the lane. He added, you know he's come a long way as an outside shooter, but he's a pick-your-poison type of player. We can't let him get into the paint. Makes sense, Kevin.
Thanks a lot, Doris.
And they're now 1 for 5 to start this game, so having trouble finding any offensive rhythm.
Rudely thrown down after the offensive rebound. He is ramped up now.
He is, you're right, and you figure this game might come down to a few of those effort plays.
Always does, Kevin.
I wouldn't doubt it. Seems like that kind of a contest tonight.
Cooper against Stoudemire. Here's Cooper. Makes it off the glass. Cooper's got 6. And Clark, that's what winning's going to do for you. The Knicks had the second best home record in the East last season as they won 31 games here.
Well, you know, Kevin, there's so much mystique here in this building. I mean, everybody loves to play in New York. It's the mecca for basketball in this country. And when NBA players come into New York, they can't wait to play against this Knicks team. And the Knicks, they want to defend their home floor.
Noah with a screen on Stoudemire. Cooper with the bucket.
And they're nearly perfect from the floor early on. 4 of their first 5 shots they've drained.
Clark, some tough offensive sets. They want to turn it around.
Yeah, they need a basket just to regain some momentum here, Kevin.
Felton kicks to Smith. A three-pointer off the mark. Chicago with the ball. They've gone on a 10-2 run, not allowing much. Here's Cooper. It's good. This time the assist from Rose. That's 10 points for the closer.
And the story of this game in the early stages is just how well they've been shooting the ball.
Steve, their percentage from the floor is really impressive up to this point. What's interesting for me to watch with Mike Woodson as head coach in New York is the exciting floor spacing offense they started playing last season. In Atlanta, he'd been known for a grinded out isolation play style, but has actually tweaked his approach a little bit, and that's been impressive.
And Rose throws it down.
Nice job again that time to add to their lead. I'll tell you what, they're doing everything right at this moment.
They're playing steadily in all aspects of the game, Steve. You're exactly right.
Now here's Anthony. 35 points for him last game against the Cavaliers in Cleveland. They get it again. Second shot opportunity. He squares up and sinks it.
His eyes were wide open there, guys. Excellent vision to see they had an open shot outside and get it there.
And back to Mike Woodson, not a flashier, high-maintenance type of personality. He keeps it on the level, and I think, Steve, the players appreciate that.
Players definitely like that. He's very quiet on the sidelines, but not afraid to get in your face when necessary. And I think that's a really good temperament for a coach to have. In general, I think he's a guy who is very well respected around the league and did an excellent job with New York a season ago.
And it's out of bounds. To New York, they'll retain possession.
Let's take a look at Carmelo Anthony and some of the stats for him. What a run he's had. The past few weeks have been just tremendous for him. 3rd in scoring, and his three-point field goal accuracy has been really impressive. He's ranked in the top 15.
And Steve, you mentioned his unbelievable points per game ranking. I mean, this guy is a guy I would call buckets.
Felton kicks to Smith. Felton. New York moving the ball around. Stoudemire dishes to Felton. 6 to shoot. Smith outside. Launches it.
He's giving them little to nothing at the offensive end. I can't put it any other way.
J.R. Smith, last season's 6th man of the year, averaging 18 points per game off the bench for the Knicks. What a fantastic season.
So the whistle blows on the shot and 2 free throws for the contact right there. And for J.R. Smith, the New Jersey native, right at home park playing for the Knicks.
And
here is Felton. He had 22 points in the win against Cleveland. Anthony, Stoudemire, and Chandler, their front line. The guards, Ray Felton and J.R. Smith. That's the 5 for New York right now. Now here's Stoudemire. It's a 16-point game. Anthony, Chandler. Excellent D there from Cooper.
And that'll increase their rebound advantage. They've definitely been winning that battle on the board.
Well, the main thing is they haven't allowed many second chance opportunities. And that is always going to allow you to maintain your lead.
He's whistled for the 5-second back to the basket violation. Well, let's take a look now at some of the most explosive players in the NBA lately. The highest scoring small forwards of the past month. Second, Carmelo Anthony.
You know, a lot of the NBA's most explosive players man that small forward position, and you're looking at a pretty good collection of them right there.
Steve, I'd say more than pretty good. Those are the guys that give opposing defenses nightmares on a regular basis.
Well, he's one player who can get hot in a big hurry. It's like he has an on-off switch, and once it gets flipped on, he's tough to stop.
And Steve, some of the best highlights you're ever going to see are going to come from this guy. Every time he steps on the court, there's a chance he'll perform the dunk of the season. You know, as the Bulls have been one of the tougher teams the last few seasons, they've done it through dominating the glass and tough defense. Had some injuries to deal with last year, but at the core, this is a defensive-minded team. That's why they're always competitive.
And even 3-on-3 break. He feeds it to Chandler. Back to Anthony. Outside, Felton. Pass to Smith. Dishes to Chandler. Yes, and it's Smith with the assist that time. Chandler's got his second basket of the game. And the Bulls in the top 5 in offensive rebound rate last season.
Yeah, for a team that struggled to produce points with Derrick Rose out the entire season, those extra possessions are just so valuable. And it's no surprise, really. I mean, the way this team hits the boards, Tom Thibodeau always getting peak effort out of his guys.
From the sideline, let's catch up with Doris Burke.
Well, guys, the closer in the last outing against the Bucks put on a show. He dropped in 32 points, and that scoring outburst set a new season high for him in what was a great exhibition on his part. He seemed to be everywhere on the floor the entire time and really was the star of the show, Kevin.
And thank you, Doris. It was a performance that has to have their upcoming opponents terrified, Clark.
Well, I know this opponent should be terrified because there's a good chance the momentum he gathered that night carries right over into this game.
Well, some of it will carry over. That's inevitable. It's just a matter of how much.
The drive by Smith, and that basket is going to count. Goaltending, the official call.
He got there late, but you do have to like the aggressiveness to go after the block. But that one's going to count.
Ozzie Muhammad's checked in for Noah. It's stolen by Stoudemire. Goes up, rips down the breakaway slam.
Textbook example there of how to use defense to create offense.
Yeah, beautiful transition play after the steal all the way to the basket.
Wasted no time going from defense to offense.
Yeah, it feels like they're starting to pick up the intensity as the game itself starts to get a little more tight and close.
And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
Obvious foul.
Yeah, he took a hit right there and earned those free throws. That's a great job from the line this quarter.
Bargnani is checked in for New York. Iman Shumpert has come in for Amari Stoudemire.
They've done better at the line this quarter. Right now, they're at a good percentage.
And there's the 3-second call, this one on the defense. The Knicks shooting their 5th free throw of the game here.
And as a club, they're kind of in the middle of the pack in the NBA in terms of their free throw shooting, about 76%.
And so he hits the technical free throw. Some changes for Chicago. Murphy's checked in. It's Dunleavy in for Cooper. And so we wrap up the first half. It's Chicago up 11. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll be back in just...
And now, brought to you by Sprint.
Good to have you here. This is 2K Sports in the NBA.
The Sprint Halftime Report, presented by Sprint.
And a breathtaking view of the iconic skyscrapers near Times Square as we welcome you back. You look at the closer in this game, guys. He's been everywhere.
He is a dynamic scorer, guys. That much we know. And I'll tell you what, his talent was on full display there in the first half.
Steve, he is a hard man to keep down, and so far, they've been unable to do it.
Third quarter action getting rolling right now, brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. Here's who's on the floor. So for Chicago right now, D. Rose and Jimmy Butler, the back. Noah is out there with Cooper, and it's Dang in at the threesome. Smith, no luck.
Jimmy Butler was the last pick of the first round back in 2011 by the Bulls. Last season, I tell you what, he really solidified his place in the rotation, guys. He's still developing his outside shot, but he brings an awful lot to light to the table.
Here's Cooper. No good on the quick three. Knicks trail by 11. Chandler with a screen for Felton. Smith. And that comes off the assist by Raymond Felton. Felton has got 3 assists tonight. And for Jimmy Butler, what a story. Abandoned as a child, bounced around from home to home. One coach would take him in, another family would take him in. It was a very tough upbringing down in the Houston area. He overcame tremendous odds. And to be where he is today with the great attitude after a short time at Marquette, it speaks volumes of his character.
Well, it sure shows in his play, doesn't it? I mean, just the way he hustles and draws fouls, rebounds, defends. He can guard multiple positions out there. You just love his overall game and his toughness and what he brings to this team.
It's Anthony with the drive. The putback. Great positioning on the putback.
They've been getting it inside at every opportunity and getting results, too.
It's a great formula, and it's really a sign that the offense is clicking.
Cooper working against Stoudemire. The 10-footer. And it's Cooper missing.
And they've been off target now on 3 of the first 4 shots they've taken in this second half.
A lot of high hopes for the Knicks in last year's playoffs. They started off so hot, but then let the series against Boston drag on, and eventually went to 7 games, and they fell to the Pacers in the second round after that.
4 on the clock. Deep 2 from Anthony, and there are the Knicks with another bucket. The Bulls leading by 7. Cooper against Chandler. Second half of play with just under 2.5 minutes gone. Cooper with the bucket. And the Boston series did drag on him, you could tell. You wonder if they were a bit fatigued going into that Pacers series. Steve, Indiana just outplayed him, outworked him in every way in the second round.
Yeah, I think it was a factor, Kevin, and really the Knicks have only themselves to blame. They had Boston down 3-1 and a home game to close it out, but they couldn't get it done. And there's no doubt that affected them against Indiana in the next series.
And it's out of bounds. The Knicks will take it the other way. Let's take this chance to look at the teams that have been the league's most efficient passers this past month. Second, the Knicks.
And what really stands out during this recent stretch is just how well they're passing the ball. This is a club that is very unselfish.
Second half of play, and we're 3 minutes into the third here. Butler against Smith. Now the feed to Felton. Shot clock at 6. Anthony off a pick from Chandler. Off the screen. No good. So the Bulls will take it the other way. At one point, they led by 16. This game coming after a loss against the Bucks.
And Kevin, they were able to keep that game relatively close, but you could tell things were not clicking for them.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. I mean, it could have been worse, though. I mean, they didn't look fresh at any point in the game. Just seemed to be listless.
Here's what Chicago's going with right now. Murphy's checked in. It's Dunleavy in for Luol Deng. Felton against Rose. The dish now to Smith. Pass to World Peace. They grabbed their own miss. And he was fouled on the way up. 2 free throws now for him.
Now we've got a moment to see how the Bulls are doing rank-wise in the NBA. 2nd in free throw percentage, 3rd in shooting percentage. And they also show up in the top 5 in not giving up the ball. This is a low turnover team. They value possessions, and they really concentrate on taking care of the rock.
Yeah, I'm so impressed with a lot of aspects of their game, but particularly the free throw shooting that you talked about, Clark. This is a club that gets to the line. They're focused, obviously concentrate well. And I talked to the coach earlier. He mentioned how much they practice free throws each and every day, and it's obviously paid off.
And Doris Burke has a report for us from the sideline.
In a lot of ways, Joakim Noah is the heart of this Bulls team. Coach Tom Thibodeau said, quote, he's an all-star, and I can see him winning Defensive Player of the Year. But the most important thing is he plays to win. He can have 5 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks, and he's happy because we won. Guys, Derrick Rose said it best. He's a warrior, and everybody is following him.
Thanks, Doris. He's such a character, so passionate about his defensive role.
I don't know if it's just me, but he's looked a step slow since the start of the quarter. His shooting has really suffered.
To the paint, stolen by Bargnani. And here comes Smith, leading the fast break.
You know, regardless of who starts the break, it seems like he's usually the one to finish it.
And that's because of how well he attacks the rim on the dead run.
For the New York Knicks, they come in off a good outing against Cleveland.
It was an emphatic win for them, especially considering that it was on the road. No question, by the way, that it was their offense that carried them.
Steve, I love the way they attacked at every opportunity. They never were on their heels, and eventually that allowed them to pull away.
All right, we'll take a look now at how the points have been generated so far. A scoring breakdown for the Bulls.
You know, one of the big stories has been the 3-ball. It's been a key part of their offense throughout the game.
And we're also seeing that power down low. A lot of good offensive moves down on the block.
And Udrih kicks to Martin. Passes to Udrih. Feeds it to Smith. He passes to Udrih. Smith, 5 on the clock. Rebound by Butler.
This has not at all been the kind of performance they've needed out of him.
Now the pass to Cooper. Laid in with a nice touch off the glass. Cooper's got 22 points.
He's their go-to guy, and when he shoots the ball like he has today, that's what the scoreboard usually looks like. Well, I tell you what, you consider all the injuries the Bulls had last year, and you look at the 34-18 mark against the Eastern Conference, and it's absolutely remarkable considering what they had to go through personnel-wise.
Well, their pass it to Cooper. It's stolen by Iman Shumpert. Udrih. He's covered by Rose. And he'll shoot free throws here. Clearly fouled on that shot that time. The whistle blowing. Now we get a chance to check out the standings out east. Already we are in December. Taking a look at Chicago. Off to a great start this season. Currently in second. And of course the Knicks. 5.5 games behind.
Looking at the Knicks, quite honestly, they've been disappointing with the...
All right, let's go over to the sideline with Doris Burke.
Yes, guys, over that break, I was able to catch the message Mike Woodson was giving to his team. He let his players know that they've got to do a better job on defense. He said, they're scoring any way they want. We've got to show some pride here. Let's make a stand defensively, get us stops, and get on a run of our own. Do they have it in them, Kevin?
Thank you, Doris. Anthony, Stoudemire, and Chandler, their front line. The guards, Ray Felton and J.R. Smith. That's the 5 for New York right now. And back to the Bulls in the East. It wasn't just one guy who stepped in the shoes of Rose or the departed Asik. Really, it was a group effort.
You know, you looked at the roster last year, you kind of scratch your head. You go, how is this team going to get to the second round without Derrick Rose? But they did it with a group of role players, with a front line that was tough and nasty and rebounded well, and with great coaching, too.
Good.
And at the offensive end, he's done about as much as they could have hoped for today.
Knicks trail by 5. We've played just over 1 minute here in the fourth quarter. Felton kicks to Stoudemire. 6 on the shot clock. Here's Anthony. Here's Chandler. Right through the D for the layup.
He's a grinder. I love what he does under the offensive boards, really bringing energy and life to his team.
Cooper a screen on Felton. And stolen by Felton. And the foul on the closer. That's his first foul.
Looked to me like the defender didn't get squared up and get his feet set.
Good work by the officials. A nice call. That play can be tough to judge sometimes.
And stolen by Butler.
Seems to me as though he's lost his way a little bit in the second half. He'd been turnover free before the break. That's certainly not the case anymore.
Cooper against Smith. Left block shot on the way. Cooper with the bucket. Cooper's got 15 points in just the second half.
Well, Kevin, he's got such a great focus as a shooter. He's a very frustrating player to guard because unless you actually block his shot, you are not going to get in his head and affect him.
And something else that comes to mind with him is how many guys he's given the poster treatment to. I mean, flying high to power one down while the defender stands there looking for mercy.
And out of bounds as the Knicks gain possession. Knicks trail by 3. Felton dishes to Carmelo. Chandler with a screen for Anthony. The Bulls making a switch here. Dunleavy's checked in. We're in the fourth quarter here, just under 2.5 minutes gone. Nice shot by Felton.
Another pass put right into the shooter's pocket, right in the shooting pocket for a terrific assist. They've done a lot of that today.
Yeah, it's something we haven't seen much of at the other end of the floor, though.
Stoudemire against Cooper. Dunleavy. 6 to shoot. Cooper against Stoudemire.
Oh, man, that was unreal.
Mark it up. Man, he got fancy with that one, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe trying to give them the momentum boost they need to break this game open.
And I like that. I mean, some coaches might want to see just a sure-handed lay-in, but I'd say put as much as you can on the finish and get your teammates going.
Cooper kicks to Butler with the lead pass, and Dunleavy gets it to go in.
This game has taken on a new feel since halftime.
For sure. The energy level on both sides has gone way up after the break.
Felton the pass to Carmelo. Anthony off a pick from Chandler. Smith for 3. That's in there. Anthony with the assist. And that's 18 points for J.R. Smith.
And his confidence has come back since halftime after really a rough first 2 quarters.
Pass to Cooper. It's stolen by Stoudemire. And oh, here we go. Felton's got it, the fast break chance. And it's Anthony with the jam. And now we'll get a perspective here on the hustle game, how it's been going for the Knicks.
Their activity at the defensive end, Kevin, has been really impressive, attacking and coming away with steals.
Another factor here tonight has been the amount of points they've scored off turnover.
Stoudemire against Cooper. Pulls it up. It's Chicago with another bucket.
Much in the clutch. He's 5 for 5 from the field here in the fourth.
Well, they keep giving him the ball, and it's working, so I wouldn't change a thing.
Felton kicks to Anthony. lets it go from 14. And there are the Knicks with another bucket.
You know, everybody seems to be sleepwalking out there on defense, and it's been that way, guys, ever since they came out of the halftime locker room.
Cooper against Stoudemire. Here's Cooper. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot 2.
Guys, how about the Bulls being able to nab the 5th seed in the East last season, in large part due to how they were able to play on the road. Of course, when you play tough, solid defense like they do, it makes it easier to be competitive and string together road wins.
And Cooper drops both of them. And for the Bulls, defense is one of the few things in the NBA that can neutralize a home court advantage. And Steve, a big part of why they had the success they had on the road.
Yeah, they went 21-20 away from the United Center, and one of only 5 teams in the entire East who managed to stay above 500 away from home. That's a real tribute to this team and the coaching staff.
More good work on the glass there. When it's all said and done, I think rebounding might well tell the story in this one.
And that should tilt things toward them. I mean, they've been winning that battle.
Outside Rose. To the middle. Shot clock at 6. Noah with a screen on Anthony. Here's Cooper. Drains the 3, and yes, he'll go to the line for one more. That one is on Stoudemire.
Boy, talk about a game closer. He's on fire here in the 4th quarter.
Not only on fire, but I think he might be unguardable. I mean, 6 for 6 so far in the 4th. Man.
Smith dishes to Carmelo. A second chance effort. They shoot again, and out of bounds as the Bulls gain possession. Chicago calls timeout. They're up by 2. 1:58 left in the 4th quarter. Their last encounter was in Chicago.
Well, they rolled them in that game, and it was mostly due to the big rebounding advantage they had.
Here's Cooper. They get it back. And there's the bucket. Stay with it on the offensive glass, getting it done. Now it's a 4-point Bulls lead. Felton attacking. He kicks to Stoudemire, and they will get the basket here, folks, as they rule goaltending.
Big call, Kevin. He just didn't get there quick enough, and that's a tough break.
Chicago's gone 2 for 2 from three-point land to start the 4th quarter. Pass to Cooper. Doubled by Felton. Cooper kicks to Rose. Passes it to Cooper. He's against Stoudemire. Lock at 6. Cooper the pass to Dunleavy. The Bulls need to get a shot off here. 13 feet away. It's rebounded by New York. Steve just mentioned their rebounding edge in that last game, Clark, and it really was a big one.
Kevin, I mean, they were in complete control of the boards, and there's no question that was the overriding factor in the game.
Stoudemire kicks to Anthony. Defended by Dunleavy. Fires from the wing. Good! And tie game. That is a huge basket right there.
He's definitely turned things around in this game. I mean, he was more of a background player in the first half. He's jumped center stage now.
Here's Rose. Count it!
Boy, right now, it's really tough to stop Rose.
Here's Felton. This is a huge possession.
You've got to execute under pressure. We're going to see what they're made of.
Here's Smith. Money! A huge shot to tie it up.
Huge points.
That's beyond huge, Steve. I mean, they needed that bucket desperately.
Rose passes to Cooper. Butler on the wing. Here's Cooper. Good ball movement here by the Bulls. A floater. Yes!
Big bucket. They've got to play for a stop here with the 2-point lead. No open three.
19 seconds left in the 4th. And here is Felton. Back to Chandler. Outside Felton. No good. And they foul intentionally. They're going to have to do that now again and again. They're not in the penalty yet.
Yeah, you got to freeze the clock. I mean, that's the enemy in this situation.
A few misses at the line, and they're in good shape.
Boy, just a brain cramp, guys. I mean, that should have been the simplest of exchanges.
For the win. Oh, that shot had a chance, but no good. And so the big win by Chicago in a tight game.
We make it cool to be sucked.
Really impressive game from you tonight. It seemed like you could do no wrong. What are your thoughts on the game and how you played?
Things just seem to be clicking for me tonight. You know, sometimes you get into a groove and everything else just falls into place. I thought the team played really well overall, too. It wasn't just me, man. When we're all on the same page, it makes such a huge difference. And most importantly, we won the game. But we expect to win when we play the way we know we're capable of.
We about to take this thing to the next level, baby. Come on now, let's get fired up. Here we go.
Some strong words of encouragement for his teammates in the huddle. Welcome, everyone, to this 2K Sports broadcast live in Milwaukee at the sold-out Bradley Center. And now a quick check of our starting lineups for both teams. And guys, checking out Joakim Noah here. What can we expect from him?
Well, he really anchors their defense. You know, his teammates can lean on him. They know that he's going to be in the right spot. He's so smart, so skilled. Really the complete package at the defensive end of the floor.
And Steve, quite honestly, he is their muscle. I mean, the guy they rely on for some brute force when they need it is him. Finesse isn't the first word that comes to mind when you're talking about this guy.
After this game, the Bucks head back out on the road. Challenging part of the schedule, and this is where they need to buckle down and take care of business.
Yeah, and they're in the middle of a tough stretch of games they've got coming up. I mean, they're excited about it, and it's going to serve as a real benchmark for them, finding out exactly where they stand in the league.
And that's something every team wants to know. You know, to get where they want to be, they're going to have to really beat the best teams in this league. So I know what they're thinking is, bring it on, let's go.
And Ilyasova throws it down.
You know, he may lack grace, but his length makes up for it. He can still throw it down now.
Well, you don't have to be a fantastic leaper when you're his size.
Well, it's too bad because with a little more athleticism, can you imagine how dangerous he'd be underneath the boards?
So for the Bucks, their last game a loss to the San Antonio Spurs.
Well, you hate to say it, but they showed a lack of heart at the defensive end in losing that game. Just no effort.
You know, I know the fans don't want to hear it, but you're exactly right. There was no energy, no assertiveness, no aggressiveness. The defense was just lifeless. It's not a night that they're going to look back on fondly.
And the shot clock expires. 24-second violation. First quarter, just over a minute played.
Well, Brandon Knight out of Kentucky is more of a combo guard than a pure point when you look at him offensively. But with his long arms and good athleticism and at 6'3", I think there's a lot of upside for him at the defensive end of the floor. I think he's a guy that could defend one and twos effectively.
Here's Knight after the made shot from Cooper. Kicks it to Mayo. Misses off the right iron.
Certainly not the dream start they were hoping for, going 1 for 4 early.
Butler with the ball, now guarded by Delfino. Here's Cooper. Nails the 16-footer. Cooper's got 6. And for Brandon Knight offensively, he's still trying to figure it out.
I think he's best as a spot-up shooter. I mean, he does have some point guard skills. He's got some athleticism, but he's really an excellent outside shooter when he's got time to set up.
And out of bounds as Chicago gains possession. Now we get a chance to check out the standings out east already. We are in December. You look at Chicago. They're in second, looking to take over the first spot. And, of course, Milwaukee, 7 games back.
I think for the Bulls, boy, they've been one of the big stories of the early season so far, and for all the right reasons, too.
Yeah, that's right. They've been better than anybody could have predicted. Oh, man, that was unreal.
Mark it up. And this sort of awesome dunk is one of the reasons this team is in charge of this game right now.
Clark, there is a swagger out here on the court that they possess and are not afraid to show it either.
That's right.
Those are phenomenal dunks to watch. So much fun.
Mayo into the lane. Clock at 6. Delfino dishes to Mayo. And Ilyasova kicks to Mayo. Again, Mayo missing.
Kevin, I didn't like that defensive effort at all, but they're lucky he missed it.
Yeah, they were very lucky defensively because there was some miscommunication there. They left him wide open.
Again, Chicago.
How about this? They're shooting 80% so far. I know it's early, but offensively, they look great.
Well, the Bucks playing here at the BMO Harris Bradley Center, one of the older arenas in the NBA at around the quarter century. And the Bucks have said they'll leave Milwaukee after the 2017 season unless a new arena is built. The second he got around the pick and shook his man, it was straight to the bucket for the easy deuce. Very, very well done.
Rose attacking. Outside Butler. Passes it to Cooper. Back to Butler. Good ball movement here by the Bulls. Deng can't get it to go. And back to the arena situation here in Milwaukee. This is one of the smaller markets in the NBA. Steve, that can make it tougher to get an arena done.
Well, and there's a potential change in ownership that has loomed over the franchise as well. Obviously, we all want to see the team stay in Milwaukee. A lot of great history here going way back. So hopefully an arena deal will get done.
Up top, Sanders. Fires from 14, and he knocks down the jumper. Sanders has got his second bucket tonight. Last game for the Bulls, they picked up the W against the Knicks in New York.
And one way to nullify a home court advantage like they did that night, Kevin, light it up from the three-point line. Nothing is more demoralizing to a home crowd.
Steve, you're exactly right. I mean, that was the great equalizer. Their perimeter play definitely took them over the top.
The Bucks shooting their first free throw of the night.
And for the season, guys, they're about 73% from the line, so kind of a mediocre shooting club.
And, Kevin, it's something they've been working very hard to correct and to change. I mean, they know how important it is to fix that inability at the free throw line.
Cooper, the pass to Rose. Leads him in there. And he takes that one up and powers it through.
It makes it so easy for your teammate when you can lead him with a pass like that one.
Knight against Rose. Knight gets a screen from Delfino. And here's Mayo from beyond the arc. Yes, and Knight with the assist that time. 6 points for O.J. Mayo. A moment to check in with Doris Burke. Doris?
Kevin, I had a their defensive focus, no surprise, will be trying to keep Derrick Rose out of the lane. He added, you know he's come a long way as an outside shooter, but he's a pick-your-poison type of player. We can't let him get into the paint. Makes sense, Kevin.
Thanks a lot, Doris. The dish to Mayo, and out of bounds is Chicago gains possession.
And Kevin, while we have a moment here, let's take a look at the Bulls and see where they ranked over the last month in the...
Now Knight, he had an 18-point outing in the last game against San Antonio.
Did a great job picking the defense apart, too. It wasn't just his scoring. Give him credit for his passing in that game, too.
Delfino kicks to Mayo. Just 2 to shoot. Knight. That 3 off the mark.
That's something they need to do more of. Get after it on the glass. Go get those balls.
Any extra possessions that you can get, either through steals or rebounds, are so critical in this game.
So for Chicago right now, on the wings, Butler and Deng. Noah is out there with Cooper, and it's Rose in at the point guard.
And not to be overlooked about Luol Deng. He's one of the elite perimeter defenders in the NBA. He's got tremendous size and length, lateral quickness, and boy, does he play with tremendous effort and focus night in and night out. He's one of my favorite guys to watch work.
Sanders' shot is good.
They've done well at taking advantage of some late defensive rotations and getting the ball into the paint.
Yeah, they've been the aggressors, Clark, and getting the ball inside into that lane area has been huge for them.
Noah, guarded by Mayo. Mayo brings the double team. Rose against Knight. Here's Cooper, and he just worked New York in that last game. You talk about Deng's effort and toughness. Easy to see why he's a favorite of Bulls coach Tom Thibodeau.
Yeah, he guts it out. He plays through pain. Bad hamstring, torn ligaments in his wrist. Remember last year in the playoffs, he had the issue with the spinal tap. Just such a tough player and perfect fit for the Bulls. He was right there, but the defensive pressure forced that miss.
Well contested. That really made it a tough shot.
Ilyasova against Cooper. Butler dishes to Rose. And the Bulls, another 3.
It looks like he's finding his touch now because the shots are starting to fall.
They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've had a...